Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, freaks and geeks, people of indeterminate gender representation, and Canadians. I am your not remotely humble host, Mr. Nice Guy, aka I Am Not Jack, aka the legendary flying failure. Welcome everyone to the expert walkthrough for Assassin's Creed Unity. Before we begin, I do want to touch on a couple of things. First and foremost, a lot of you are probably wondering, why now? Why are we doing Assassin's Creed? This game is a couple of months old. Well, yes, that's true. This game launched in November, and it sucked. It was barely playable, the frame rate was god-awful, and I want to give you guys the best video that I possibly can. So, to that end, waited a little while, let Ubisoft get some major patches out, and if by chance anybody from Ubisoft is watching this video, a 6GB patch on a 34GB game is not a patch. That is a substantial portion of the game that you failed to deliver at launch. You guys really suck. But aside from that, this game is awesome. I have played every Assassin's Creed game with the exception of some of the mobile games and Assassin's Creed Rogue, as I have upgraded my Xbox and to the Xbox One and no longer have an Xbox 360. This game was the original reason that I purchased an Xbox 360, not this one, but the very first Assassin's Creed, and I have thoroughly enjoyed all of them. As our expert walkthrough, we're going to go through every single story mission. I'm going to show you guys how to get through, how to do it like a boss, how to not get caught, and the easiest way to complete all of the optional objectives. I want to give a huge shout out to two major influences on this feed. LP Dark Souls HD and the Rad Brad, my fellow Let's Players. If it weren't for you guys, I would not be doing this. Also want to give credit where credit is due to my partner in crime, Mike, without whom none of this would be possible, as he actually helps me to edit these videos and put them up on YouTube. Now the first video is going to be a little bit longer than what the rest are going to be, for the simple reason that the first couple levels of the game, while they're very simple, have a lot of cutscenes, there's a lot of exposition, so the first couple of videos are going to be a little bit longer, and then I'm going to step it off a little bit and start showing you guys shorter videos. I am not going to do a 100% walkthrough. I'm going to show you guys how to do a couple of the murder mysteries very quickly to get some of the best weapons in the game. Some of my personal favorite weapons. I'm going to show you guys my personal favorite equipment setup as well, but I am not going to play through every single aspect of the game because this game is huge and part of the fun is in doing the exploring. I will also not be going through the co-op missions unless someone specifically requests them, because while I can do them fairly well, the co-op missions are very dependent on who is playing the mission with you, and if they suck, then there's no way for you to be good at it. So the co-op missions, unfortunately, are not going to be a possibility unless I find somebody else that can actually play through them with me. But other than that, we're probably just going to stick to the single player. I will show you guys a co-op mission just so that I can show you how it works, because for the most part it does work really well, or at least the parts that don't work are not the fault of Ubisoft, but rather the fault of people who don't know the meaning of the word stealth. This is a stealth game, and I will be playing it as such. So if you guys were hoping for the hack and slash version, go check out the Rad Brad, because he's not very good at this. I, however, am. So without further ado, let's get started.
past is not lost. The past lives inside us. Encoded in the double helix are the experiences of our ancestors. After 3 decades of research, our engineers have forged the cutting edge of biotechnological interfaces. We have unlocked the lives of our forebears. We have opened a window into the past. This is total immersion entertainment. With the press of a button, you will experience the most pivotal moments in history, all from the comfort of home. Welcome to Helix, where the past is your playground.
So in a twist of dramatic irony, the game has you playing as some random guy who's just picked up the latest entertainment product, which may or may not actually be this game. This screen right here is going to be a little confusing to some people when you first start out, but the only one that you can select is the Tragedy of Jacques de Molay. The rest of these are actually, in fact, other Assassin's Creed games. We have the Triumph of the Borgias, which is Assassin's Creed 2. The Lone Eagle, which I believe is the beginning of Assassin's Creed 3. Murder in the Levant, which is the original Assassin's Creed. The Emperor's Shadow, which I'm not sure which one this is. Fear and Loathing in Florence would be Assassin's Creed 2. Heyo. Devils in the Caribbean is last year's Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. The Liberation of Lady Avalon is Assassin's Creed Liberation, which was a PlayStation Portable title that I have not played. Washington and the Wolf, this is Assassin's Creed 3. The Bladed Cross, I have no idea. Jazz Junkies, I have no idea. And Hell in Hibernia, I have no idea. Presumably these are either games that I have not played, or these are games that have yet to be released, which... Ubisoft, if you're thinking about doing an Assassin's Creed game in New Orleans, do it. Just don't even hesitate. Just do it. But the only one that we can actually do right now is the Tragedy of Jacques de Molay. Actually, right now it's not part of the equation. This is the only one that we can select, ever, period. So, let's go.
Last of the heroic Knights Templar, Jacques de Molay was a man of principle, a towering intellect, betrayed by those he trusted. In this episode of Fallen Heroes, experience Jacques de Molay's final tragic hours through the eyes of one of his closest friends and advisors.
A lot of dramatic foreshadowing there. But anyway, off we go. The load screens in this game are pretty ridiculously long. I'm going to see if I can't get them edited out. But for now at least, they're going to have to stay. Possibly in future updates we'll be able to.
Who goes there?
A friend of the temple.
Floirac. The Council's message was absolute. You're not welcome here.
I must speak with the Grand Master.
He's in session. They all are. Another day, perhaps.
King Philip disagrees.
Damn you, man. Why you're not rotting in a cell at this moment, I cannot fathom.
We are betrayed. Draw your swords, men. Defend the temple. Not you, brother. I have a different task for you. Come with me.
King Philip's moving faster than we expected.
Another hand is at work here.
Oh?
The assassins.
Assassins? I thought the Mongol Khans broke their power decades ago.
The assassins are far older than Masyaf, my friend. Their anarchic delusions are virulent as the plague, and less easily eradicated. We will not prevail this night, but if you make haste, we may yet save our order.
What must I do?
Go to the tower. Take the sword and the book. Hide them. They must not fall into the assassin's hands.
Grandmaster,
Go!
Alright, so this is it, the start of the game, and of course I start off by going the wrong direction. It tells you can hit X to attack, but there is absolutely no reason to do that. We can just run.
Dad! I have to take a different way.
Interestingly enough, the game actually starts you out playing as a Templar. Kind of a nice little switch there. And this actually does come into play later in the game. Now, here, a lot of people are going to do what I did the first time. You're just going to keep rushing forward, and you're going to leap off into the water, or if you're lucky, you might make that jump to the other side. Just turn left and go up the ladder. Unless you want to look like a Templar. In which case, no one can. That was the assassin that just ran right in front of us.
The tower! They've breached the tower! They've taken the...
We're to Assassin's Guide in hay bales. Teaching us how to free run. If you hold down circle, you will vault over obstacles. It is not difficult, but it is crucially important later in the game. Alright, so this is the first time we're going to get into combat, and the first thing it's going to teach us how to do is to parry. Unlike in previous Assassin's Creed games, there is no real counterattack. We parry to simply keep our combo alive and to avoid taking damage. Parrying also opens up an opportunity to attack. Most of the time, you cannot attack outright. You must parry first. I got hit there. It's trying to teach me how to dodge, but this guy's using a pretty fast weapon. It's not a good idea. Most of the time, you actually have to parry an attack first to open up an enemy to attack, and then you can follow it up with a 3-hit combo. 3 hits is actually the maximum number that you can do, and your combat options are a bit more limited than what they've been in games past. Now, the sword that we're using, I believe, is either the Claymore or the Great Flamberge, and that is actually a sword that we can get in the game. That was a very brief little teaser of our end-game weapon. And I do mean end-game. We will not be seeing that weapon again until the very last mission. Taking a leaf out of the Assassin's book, this guy decides to hide the sword in plain sight. Those of you who have played this game before will probably think that's hilarious. Everyone else probably thinks so. And the assassin killed us because that's what they do. I would like to point out that 7 years is a ridiculously long time for a trial.
Pope Clement, hear me? Before this year is out, you will answer for your crimes before God Almighty! And you, King Philip, no punishment is too heinous for the great evil you have inflicted upon the temple. I curse you! Curse you to the 13th generation of your blood! You shall be cursed!
Consumed in flames of hunger and wrath, thus came the age of true wisdom to a blistering close. The Knights Templar, once the proud shepherds of order, peace, and illumination, were no more.
Yeah, let's get a sniffer running. If Abstergo pings us, pull me out. Okay. I have a visual. Hey there. This is probably disorienting, so I'll be brief. I'm Bishop, not my real name, obviously, but that's as much as you'll get today. Please listen carefully. Abstergo is using you, hijacking your neurons to help them sift through genetic memory data. These guys don't have their fingers in countless corporations, governments, media outlets, and NGOs. But now, they want control over history itself. If that doesn't frighten you, it should. But we're here to stop them, and I need your help. Deacon, preload gene sequence AD16, B13, I87.
Yep, spooling it up.
Last week, we gained access to a bank of unsequenced memories in Abstergo's Helix servers. For now, we'd like you to experience a small sample. This should help you understand our struggle. And after that, you can decide for yourself what comes next. We'll be waiting.
So like every other game in this series, the game actually takes place in